Savior is in Jesus, 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 Jesus. Welcome to another episode of From Doubt to Devotion. Hey friends, I missed you guys. What's been going on in your lives? Let's talk about it. One of the things I do want to share with you guys today is temptation, right? Don't take the bait. That is temptation. We've all been tempted. Whether it's something you're not supposed to buy, that you made yourself buy it. Whether it's something you're not supposed to do, but you wanted it so bad and you fell for it. No matter what it is, no matter what temptation is, whether it's something small or whether it's something big, the fact of the matter is you gave in. If you look in James 1, verse 13 to 15, it reads, "And remember, when you are being tempted, do not say, 'God is tempting me.'" So temptation does not come from God. It comes from within us. So we have to look introspectively. We have to look inward. What are those things that we crave? What are those things that entices us, that we just cannot control ourselves, that we have to go as far ahead as, giving in? So sometimes we like to shift the blame. Yes, we all do this, even you. We say, "Oh, the devil made me do it," or "God must be teaching me a lesson. That is why I got tempted." No. Temptation is from your own desire. Your desire is being baited. So it's a bait that you took. It's almost like when you set a bait, that you're using to catch a fish. A fish doesn't know, right? And it's just going to bite on that bait. Then after you bite on the bait is when you actually see that it's not really that good, right? So let's talk about the process of temptation. So because there is a process for this, right? So you can call it the triple D's, right? Hey, God forgive me. So that's not what I mean. Don't take your minds to dirty place, right? So come back here with me. So triple D's as in desire, deception, and disobedience. So James talk about this like it's almost like a chain reaction, right? So the first thing is that you desire something. Something in us wants what it's outside of God's will, right? We want it so bad that we are willing to ignore what God says and we still go for it. The second D is deception. So temptation dresses up sin to look very attractive. I was giving you the example of the bait used for a fish. The fish sees the bait like, "Oh, this is food," then bites on it. Then after you bite on it is when you get caught. And the last D is disobedience, right? Once we take that bait, it leads us to action that is against God's will. The bait is designed to appeal to our appetite, right? And Satan knows your appetite. Satan knows your appetite. He knows what you like. He knows what you cannot control yourself. He knows what you yearn for. So it's a bait that you bite on, and that's how you get tempted. But the most important part of this is there is a consequence for this, and I call it the end game. The end game is that sin causes death. So let's talk about that. When we say death, we're not literally saying that you're dying. Death can come in different forms. So death can come in broken relationships. Death can come in like loss of your peace of mind. You have spiritual emptiness. Sin always overpromises, but under delivers. Please remember that. You ask yourself, is it really doing what God said you shouldn't do? Knowing that it's very clear on what He says. It said, the wages of sin is death. So we need to be very, very careful when we are making choices in life. But God is the way out, right? That's the good news. God is the way out. So let's look at 1 Corinthians 10:13. It says, God will always make a way of escape for you. That means when temptation shows up, so does an exit. It's a binary choice. You can either do it or you don't. There is always an exit for you when temptation shows up. You don't have to fall for the bait, right? So practical ways to take that escape, right? The first thing is that you recognize the bait early. All right, this thing is trying to tempt me. Don't ever negotiate with sin. That's the second thing. Don't negotiate. Actually, I'll tell you, run. Just run. Go the opposite direction. And the third thing you can do is just replace that wrong thoughts with the scriptures. Like whatever you're thinking, whatever has got you bent on doing that thing, just read the scriptures. The last thing is you need to stay accountable to someone who will always check on you. Sometimes when we don't have people that we're accountable to in our lives, we just make very drastic decisions. We make, decisions that might cost us later. But when we are accountable to someone, whether it's your wife, whether it's your boyfriend or your girlfriend, whether it's your mother or your sister, whoever you're accountable to kind of keeps us in line so that we are not out there making decisions that later we will regret, right? So temptation happens to everyone. I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys, temptations don't come in different forms. Yes, it does. You have to realize that temptation, it always starts with that desire, right? From the desire, you go to the deception. From the deception, you go to the disobedient. So before you get to the disobedient, just check your desires, man. Let's just be real. Some of us, we're adults here. You need to be able to keep your desires under control. And that's just, this is not a religious advice, right? This is just real life advice. You need to be able to say no. You need to be able to say no to some things, right? Summon the willpower to be able to do that. And, praying helps. So I'm not going to say just do this by yourself, because I will never tell you to rely on your own strength, because the devil can target your strength. But when your strength comes from the Lord, it's very hard for the devil to attack that, because when God strengthens you, your desires are under control. You are able to make those decisions, without getting to that disobedient, right? And the deception, you're going to recognize the deception. That is why when you pray, you always pray that God should give you discernment, because discernment allows you to be able to recognize the traps, the schemes that the enemy is going to throw at you. It might be a fine woman, that might be your temptation, or it might be a nice car, like a very sporty car, whatever your temptation is, whatever those desires are that does not align with God's will for your life. I think, we can always keep that in check through God's mercy and grace. Whatever those desires are that you need to keep under check, don't do it alone. Just leave it onto God's hands. Pray that God gives you the strength to be able to say no. Say no. Don't say yes to all things, right? Let me pray for you. Lord, thank you for being my strength in every temptation. Help me to see the bait, whether it's near or far. Help me to see the bait, and help me to avoid the trap that I choose you, and I choose to exit instead of biting on the bait, oh Lord. You are my strength in every circumstance. Thank you, O Lord, for all you have done for me. In Jesus' mighty name, I pray. Amen. Thank you again. Hey, temptation is real out there, but so is God's promises and God's strength. You don't have to do it alone, because when we rely solely on our strength, it's easy for the enemy to target us. So pray that God strengthens you. Pray that God gives you the spirit of discernment, that you recognize the baits and you don't bite on the baits. Because if you do, God's words are very clear. The wages of sin, is death. And like I said, death comes in different forms. It might not be literally dying. It might be your relationship dying. It might be your finances dying. It might be, your spirituality dying. But there is something that you lose when you don't listen and you take the baits. So stay away from temptation. I'm sure you're saying, oh, Matthew, it's easy to say. I'm not saying it's easy. But it's easy when you allow God to take the lead in your life. So pray, stay prayerful, stay devoted. Yeah, stay devoted, stay disciplined. And God is going to be your strength in every situation. So until next time I see you, keep those desires on the check. And God will help you. Bye.